No gold is not enough.
Hello friends, welcome to another episode of Geek-A-Tech. First of all, I would like to thank you to all my viewers and my subscribers for their love and their support. If you are new to my channel, please do share, like and subscribe my channel for the new and latest updates on software testing tools, technologies and certifications. So friends, till now we have gone through with the different videos for APIs testing, API tools, some of the BVT frameworks we talked about. Today we are going to talk about a little bit different testing approach which we didn't talk about till now. So for today's topic we are going to talk about is BVT, the build verification testing. So what I say for build verification testing is that early testing, early quality. If you test a product in a very early stage, then you can improve the quality, as you can identify the bugs and issues of the product very soon, so you can fix it very easily, and you can increase the quality of the product. So let's talk about the build verification testing today. So today is the agenda. First we will talk about its introduction, what is build verification testing. Then we will talk about basics of BVT. Afterwards we will see what kind of basics checks we should perform before performing the BVT. Then we will see the process of BVT. Later on we will talk about some takeaways of BVT. So the introduction part. Build verification testing is basic testing performed on a very new build to make sure that it conforms to what is required of it before being passed to testing or a UAT team for further testing. So more like many times when we receive the build for testing, so before that we have many of the companies, they have a separate environment where testers perform a very quick smoke on the latest build, whatever build they receive. So based on their quality measures, they perform a smoke testing on that, and they verify that build is stable or not, or if the minimum requirement of a build validation is there or not. So the main principle of build verification testing is that only testable and stable modules that should be a part of a build. So whatever module we are going to test, we are not going to check any functional testing on it. We are not going to perform any regression. We are just want to test only the stability of the build. So for that we are just selecting only those modules which are very stable before we receive the build. So till that point of time we are going to include only those test cases which of the module which are very stable. Any unfinished or untested modules should be excluded from the BVT. Since the test cases will be mostly predefined, the BVT will be automated, enabling this test case to be running as a part of continuous build deployment. So as a part of CI/CD, if we include the test cases for BVT as a part of automation, then it can be achieved very easily, because many of the companies or many in the projects we saw, we can see that the build verification testing is doing manually because of their certain constraints, or might be the automation is not in place. But if we include automation as soon as as the part of BVT, then it will be very helpful, because whenever we receive the build as a part of CI/CD, so we can test our product or the stability of the build by performing the automation test scripts on it. So it's a very good thing. It's a time saving thing. So let's talk about the basics of BVT. So what are the key things required to understand about the BVT we are going to talk about in this session. First, it is a subset of tests that verify the main functionality. Again, it's a subset of test cases of our regression or the functional test cases which we are going to perform on very first time. So it's not a complete set, it's a subset of the major chunk of the test cases. BVT are typically run on daily basis, as we know that it's depend on how frequently we are receiving the builds. So majorly we receive on daily basis. So if the BVT fails, then build is directly rejected and new build should be released with the fixes. So any build will not be acceptable if is there having any issues which identify in BVT, because the BVT is checking the stability of the build. So if those things are not in place or the issues are there, then build should be directly rejected. Design BVT carefully enough to cover the basic functionalities. Typically, BVT should not run more than 30 minutes. So this is the thing, because we don't want to go in in-depth testing. So we just identified the very major or very high, very must scenarios to be included in that. So there should be a limited number of test cases, and it should not run take more time, more than 30 minutes, if you have the automation in place. In case you have no automation, and then again it should not take more than 1.5 hours or more than an hour, because if it's take too much time, then it's not good. It's not considered as a good part, as a good practices for verification of the build. Because as soon as we identify the stability of the build, then we should tell the developer that okay, the build is stable or not. Now we should proceed with the testing or not. So BVT is a type of regression testing done on each and every new build. So again, with the why we are saying it's as a type of regression testing, because because whenever we receive a new build, then we see that our stable build which we passed previously is not impacted because of the new build or with the new code changes. The BVT cases and processes should not be implemented in hurry. Okay, so there should be no in hurry. We should identify the stable modules. We should identify the major functionalities which impact directly the environment or the build. So the selection of test cases should be very precise. Okay, include only stable test cases which have known expected result, and no need to add any unstable test cases. Sometimes we can see that BVT got failed, but it's not because of the instability of the build. There are many other scenarios also which causes the fail of BVT. Sometimes we can say that the automation tool error, okay, infrastructure error, might be environment is not up or something like that. There are some configuration issues or in environment. There might be a possibility of hardware failures. There might be a chance that if we are using the automation tool, then in our automation scripts we have some coding errors. So these are also the cases which says that BVT is failed, but we should identify that this is not the cases from which our build is impacted. Okay, so there might be chances these are the not directly associated with the code which we have implemented in our new build. So we should properly identify that what is the cause of the BVT. See the root causes of the failures and take the proper actions. Log as much as detailed information to diagnose the BVT pass or fail results. In case if our BVT is failed due to the automation tool error or infrastructure error or any hardware reason, then we should log it properly, and we should take care of those things whenever we are going to test a new build or in future scenarios. So it's a very good thing if we taking a proper action, we log them. Okay, so we should identify that okay, these are our basic checks, like okay, these all things should be in place before testing the BVT. So what are the basic checks we should perform when we perform the BVT? First, check whether all the new and modified files are included in the release. All the new files we just created for the product or which has all the classes and the functionalities should be the part of release. Okay, all the modified classes. All file formats are correct. Okay, if we have some war files, we have jar files, we have .classes files, everything should be in place, and the file format should be correct. Every file version and language. So we should first understand that what was the previous version we received for the build, what is the new version. Okay, if we have any flags associated with our files, then all flags should be properly mentioned in each file. Include only critical test cases. Okay, there should be sufficient for application test coverage. We should not go for thorough testing or in-depth testing. We should cover very basic and very important scenario which can validate our build stability. Add only stable test cases. Do not include modules in BVT which are not yet stable. Again, set some standards, and these standards shall met only by analyzing major project features and scenarios. So suppose we have an application which just calculate the uh, interest rate on different kind of account types. Okay, so in case of BVT, we should have a very basic test cases included in BVT, like the the interest rates are displaying or not. Okay, the calculation of interest rate for a very basic amount is there or not. Okay, all the account types is there or not, users able to log in or not. So these kind of very basic checking should be in place in case of BVT. Try to automate process as much as possible, because there might be chance we receive frequent bills depend on our project nature of our project. The person who runs the test and the lead managers diagnose the causes of failure. Whatsoever person is running the BVT, he should log all the causes of failure and inform to the related developer or the respective persons for that. Once the bug is fixed, the BVT test should run again. The process get repeated over for every new build. So whenever we receive a new build, this process should be repeated. So what is the flow of BVT? It's a very simple flow. Code base, whatever the code is done by the developer, they just place all the files properly. They should include all the files, the modified files, the new files. Okay, there should be a no unwanted files should be with their war files or jar files. Once they build their project, then if we have any automated test cases, then as a part of CI/CD, those test cases should be run. In case we don't have any automation test cases available, then the basic scenarios should be run manually. Once the test cases result we receive, if all the scenarios, major scenarios are passes, then it passes to the testing team or the UAT team. If in case we have some failures, then we should identify those failures and give it back to developer. In case if there is some issue with the code which causes the failure of very basic requirements, then developer should fix it, and then again this process should be followed. So this is a very basic and simple flow of BVT. So let's talk about the flow of BVT. Build verification test cases should be executed once new build is received. If BVT passes, then build should be accepted and start actual testing. If BVT fails, then its build should be directly rejected. Results should be sent to your team manager, team project, whatever you have hierarchy over there. Find out the root cause. Okay, it is a very important thing to identify the root cause of the issues, which can help developer also to not to commit mistakes again in future. If we identify the root cause which is repeated again and again in every issue which we have identified. If there is a defect, then relevant information should be sent to proper respective developers to fix the problem. You can send it directly to developer. You can log into Jira. You can log it into any test management tool whichever you have. Bugs should be addressed to developer to fix it as soon as possible, because if we are going to a long and lengthy process of the bugs, then the build verification testing might delay. So it should directly assign to the developer that this is the problem. The developer has provided me the build, so to the same developer I will assign the issues. Again, it's depend on company to company and project to project. Upon fixing of defects, build verification test cases should be executed. All the test cases should be executed again, okay? Because there might be all the test cases which are part of BVT, because there might be a chance because of the new fix, the things which were running properly earlier might not run this time when we receive a new build. So it's a continuous process. And in build verification testing, one needs to check the integrity of various modules of the application. Checking the integration of various modules is important when different teams work on different modules. So it's a very important and very critical thing whenever when a product is work on different it's divided into different modules and different teams work on it. So at the time of integration, this is a very important thing to understand that the integration should run properly on that particular build. Okay, suppose we have three modules which are integrated on the new build on new, so we should perform BVT as consideration of all these three modules, all the basic checks required to be done of all the three modules in our BVT. So what happens when BVT runs? So the result of BVT execution is sent to an email ID or whatever we have the system in place in our project, so we can do it. BVT owner inspect the results of BVT. If in case of BVT fails, then the root cause analysis should be there. Okay, all the relevant information and the proper logs should be there. Developer on the initial diagnostic replies on to the team what is the cause of failure. If they identify that it is only because of some hardware failures or some third party dependency it got failure, so they should inform upfront, so we can identify that okay, because of certain issues which are not in our control, the build got failed because of third party dependency or something like that. We can pass this BVT this build to testing team or the UAT team. So whatever the developer work on it, if when he analyze the issue, then he should reply to the team the failure causes. If there is some code issues, then he said okay, it will take time to fix the issue, or and whatever the causes, he should communicate to the team. Once the bug is fixed, then BVT test suite against executed. Again, we should to take care of the thing that whenever we are trying to run BVT again and again, we should not exclude any test case. Okay, because we are already running a subset of the test case and we are running very crucial scenarios, so no test case should be excluded from build to build. Okay, it's not be like that. Okay, in first build when we have 10 test 50 test cases we run or 30 test cases we have run. Now we received the second build because of some issue in the build and it got fixes. Now we are going to run only 10 cases as because we don't have any change in the code. But again, as a part of BVT, we should run all the complete subset of BVT test cases properly, so it's give us a consistent behavior in every build, so we can identify that okay, we receive 3 builds in a day and all the 3 builds run against this number of test cases, and we receive the issues in first build, then we issue the then we identify the issues in second build, and in the third build we have no issues. So this number of test cases were there, and based on these test cases or the critical scenarios, we identify that now our build is stable. Now we are 100% sure the build is stable and it's ready for testing. So let's talk about some takeaways. So what points we should remember when we perform the BVT? First, test cases should be short, within duration of less than 30 minutes. So I told you that if automation in place, then it's fair enough. It's very good, because there's a part of CI/CD we can run or BVT test cases, and the scenario should be very limited. Around, it's not a standard, or it's not a compulsion, and it's not a hard time that it should less than 30 minutes always. It depends on your nature of your product or depend on the modules which we are going to deliver. But again, it's very good if our BVT test cases run less than 30 minutes. Second, frequency. The build verification testing test cases should run on every build, as we talked about, but not with too much frequency. Ideally, run them once a day. Again, it's depend on our project or depend on our company that what procedure we follow for the build. There are many companies who are giving build in every hour. There are many companies who are giving build once or twice a day. There are many companies they are giving build thrice a day. So it's again depend on nature of project or nature of product. The third one is only the build's integrity. The verification part, only the build's integrity is checked, not the entire functionality. So keep test cases short as simple we can. So again, we talked about that we are not going to test the complete in-depth testing. We are just going to identify the integrity of our build. We just want to check very basic scenarios We don't want to verify whole stuffs. So it's very good to check only critical things, the baseline things which we want to test for on our build. Okay, so this is all about the BVT. So thank you for your time, and we will try to cover as many or other kinds of testing in our upcoming videos. So thank you for your support. Uh, if you are, in case you are new to my channel, please do share, like, and subscribe my channel, and don't forget to press notification bell.